So today we're going to talk about my least favorite behavior as a teacher and a parent. Whining. I don't know about you, but it drives me up the wall. I'm going to tell you today how we can stop whining and how we can get moving forward to having a better relationship with your student and your child. Hey there. So whining is one of my least favorite behaviors. It is something that as a teacher and a parent drives me up the wall. So I know that for most people it also is very irritating. It's the behavior that's just continuous. Kids just can drive you absolutely crazy with it. So today I'm going to talk about some steps to eliminating whining and being able to just build a better relationship with your child and teaching your child how to ask and express their wants and needs without driving you absolutely batty and using whining. Number one, teach your child an appropriate way to ask for things that they want. Your child that whining is not an acceptable way to ask for what they want. Now this may sound a little silly because, well, how do I have to teach them appropriate behavior? They should just know, right? Wrong. That's not the case. Children need to be taught. So what you need to do is pick a time when it's calm with you and your child to sit down and talk about whining and what your expectation is and what whining looks like. If you need to model it for them, say something along the lines of, I find it really frustrating when you say, Mom, I really want to do XYZ. I really want to be on my PlayStation. I really want to get on my tablet. I really want the ice cream. That's when you say, that is whining. And when you whine, I don't want to give you what you want. If anything, it actually makes me feel frustrated and I'm more resistant and more hesitant to give you what you want because I don't feel like you're asking me in a polite and respectful manner. So that is teaching them that they need to use an appropriate way. Then on the flip side, I would model in a respectful way to ask for something that they want. Can I please have an extra helping of dessert? Or I would really love if you would let me get on the PlayStation. Then you can have that open dialogue with your child. Model what you expect them to say and how you would like to hear it. And then, of course, you say the same thing to them. I would really like if you would please pick up your toys. You know, instead of coming in a demanding, rude way. Because when you come in as an adult in a demanding, rude way, then your child learns that that behavior is acceptable. And I know that's kind of some tough love and that's hard to take. And I know I'm guilty of doing it too, but sometimes we just get frustrated as parents and teachers and we come in and we're like, it's my way or the highway. But what we're really teaching the child is that they can walk around and talk to people like it's my way or the highway. So you need to go back and look at how you're talking and you need to model as a family. So the second expectation or way of teaching of getting rid of whining is when your child whines, point it out to them that they're whining. Give them that warning. All right, you're whining right now, so I'm not going to be listening to what you're saying. With number 3, you really want to stay strong with what you're doing. You just need to think in your mind. I know it's hard sometimes to teach ourselves to be patient, but you need to sit back and think, okay, I have to be strong. I have to teach my child. I'm the adult in this situation. They are the child. I need to show them this is not appropriate behavior. You need to stay calm. I love to use power statements. Whining gets you nothing. Power statements are really great for the kids who like to have whining temper tantrums. They like to fuss. Please, 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 please. No. I want it. They don't stop. You know, to the point where you really probably want to walk over to the wall and just bang your head against it, or you want to look at them and go, fine, whatever you want. They know that works. So mama, dad, teacher, you need to be tough. Do not, under any circumstances, when they start doing that, give in, because you're just reinforcing the behavior that when they bug you like that and they're insistent and they're highly annoying, that they're going to get what they want. And they're going to continue that in every place they can get away with it. Home, school, church, camp, their job when they grow up. So you need to teach them, you need to shut that behavior down. So I love power statements. When you're whining, you get nothing. That is something you really need to remember, and that will work. They will fight you at first because they're going to keep seeing what they can get away with. They're going to do that a lot, especially if they're used to getting their way. That strategy's worked for them. They're going to constantly come back to that, and they're going to drive you nuts. So you really need to set ground rules on that one. So practice that. Whining gets you nothing. Practice it in the mirror if you have to. So for number 4, we want to make sure that we reinforce the positive behavior. So when you catch your child or your student doing something good, asking the way that you taught them, using appropriate verbal language and tone, then you need to make sure that you give them praise, 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 praise for this. This can also follow by, if it's appropriate at the time, the thing that they desire, they want. So if you've noticed that you went through the entire grocery trip and your child has been good, they didn't whine or beg for anything, then maybe that's the time that you might say, I really love how nicely you acted on this trip today. I would like to let you pick out a small treat. Or if you're teaching, I really like how responsible you've been and how you've asked nicely, and then offer them whatever thing they've been working towards. Or in the class, you can also give them a role or responsibility, or if you have incentive bucks or points or whatever sort of thing that your school uses. And mine, we do house points. So that would be a time that I might say, I love the way that you're being respectful and using respectful language and asking politely. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a house point. That's just a great opportunity to go ahead and praise the child so that they know that they're doing something well. They need to know and be reminded, because that's how we learn and grow, when we get that feedback that we're doing what we need to do correctly. All right, so for step 5, you need to continue to hold up the expectation. This is not going to be a one and done conversation and then poof, all whining goes away. This is a process and it takes time. So we need to continually have that expectation. We need to be continually talking about how we act appropriately, reinforcing how we act appropriately, and modeling how we act appropriately. I actually think it's okay that you have that discussion with your child at night, maybe when you tuck them in at bed. I like to have discussions with kids at that point. I feel like it's a really good time to reflect on our day, reflect on the things that we did well and the things that we need to continue to work on. And it's a quiet time. So, you could reflect at the end of the day. You had a great day. I really loved how you made these good choices. You used the polite language. I'm really proud of you. Those are things that kids need to hear, and it lets them know they're on the right track. I also think that it's important, if you need to set the expectation, I always kind of start in the morning. I drive my kids to school, so we talk about what the expectations are for the day on our ride in, or that's something you could do earlier in the morning if you need to, while you're getting them ready for breakfast. Or if you don't have time in the morning, maybe that is something you could have a discussion at the dinner table, because they need to know those expectations and have that dialogue with you. If you're a teacher, morning meeting is a great time to have that discussion about what's whining, what's respectful ways to ask, or if you do check-in and check-out procedures, and that's one of those things that you want to remind your student of every day. And then, of course, as a teacher, you can use that time at the end of the day to check out. I liked what you did, what I'd like to continue to see you doing, those sorts of things. Lots of praise and positive motivation. You're going to get a lot more better and positive behavior in your child if you are positive. If you are just really demanding and angry and ugly, you're not going to get there. Kids don't respond well to that. People don't respond well to that. Think about how you would feel if your boss constantly just gave you negative feedback all the time and was constantly nitpicking you. You'd be incredibly frustrated. And the same thing goes for a child if their teacher's constantly nitpicking at them or their parents constantly nitpicking at them. They eventually just shut down, and it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and they don't even see the point in being good for you anymore, because all they ever hear is nasty negative things, and they start to believe that's who they are. So really the main message, tying this all together, is keep it positive, keep it as a learning experience, really. And it's important to remember that these children need to be taught the skills with love and patience. They don't need to be constantly dictated at. There is definitely an appropriate time and place for when you have to be stern, but I really do believe that love, compassion, and relationships help with behavior. They really are the answer. They're the secret. A real good conversation with a child where you get on their level and you can really have a heart to heart, you get a lot more positivity out of that. I really want you to think about how you handle your child's behavior or student's behavior the way that you would want to be treated by your boss or your spouse. You'd want to be treated with kindness, compassion, understanding, and patience. And that's really how you need to work with these kids. So hopefully my tips were helpful for you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer your questions, to make a future video and talk more about some of these tips that can help you with some of these behaviors. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Subscribing, give me a thumbs up, make sure that people get to see my video and I can help more parents and teachers, which is really the whole point of my channel. So please like and share if you like it, and check out my other videos.